Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about your app that you came up with, Talk to Me.
Mhm.
You want to talk a little bit about it? Maybe where you came up with the idea or
Sure.
where that came from?
Yeah, sure. It's actually kind of a it's kind of a silly origin story. During COVID, I think it was the second lockdown, and I got obsessed with running, which is probably like some form of self-sabotage. And I was going to run 10 kilometers every day for, I think it was like 200 days, something like that. And every 10th day I'd do 15. So I was wrecked. And one of the days after the longer runs, it was like 22 kilometers. I had my brother come pick me up, and I sat in the car.
That time.
Yeah, it was everyone, and it's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, like look at him," and realistically, on the other side, I was like, "Somebody, please shoot me," and I was just like lying down scrolling because that was the only part of my body that worked, and I came across this picture of this guy, and the picture was there's nothing really. It was just a picture of a building, but the caption talked about how COVID was just wreaking havoc on his mental health, how he was stuck in a one-room apartment. He couldn't see his family members. Some of his family members passed from COVID, and he felt like he was absolutely alone. And then I was like, man, why isn't there just like more people like that need help, that need something, that can have community? Because I've found that when you feel like those really dark, intrusive feelings, you need like solid truth to really overcome that. Because if not, those feelings can really take over. And lucky enough they haven't for me, but I've been in places where it's a hard feeling to explain. Like I don't want to be here. It's not so much suicide, but it's just comfortable with not being around. And I kind of explain it like being a ghost. Like if I just wasn't there, I think I'd be okay with it. I think, like I used to think that people would be better without me, and that feeling is like, it's overwhelming. And I didn't want people to feel like that.
Right.
So the app came from just wanting to really talk to my mom and have a place where I can like put that and not feel like it's overbearing. Because like, you have to be honest with yourself too. Some people don't really want to hear you talk about your mom all the time, and that's completely okay. So I want to make a space where it's safe, and a space where you can talk about the things that you basically talk about yourself all the time anyway.
Right.
So this way you can get it out of your brain, you can get it out of your space and let it breathe somewhere else. One of the reasons I've been like really pushing towards it is a few parents have reached out about miscarriages they've had, and they say they think about like that baby had a name, that baby had a future plan, had a life plan, and now in the moment there's nothing.
Right.
So like they always were telling me how thankful they were to finally have a space where they can just talk to other parents that feel that way, that talk to maybe just themselves and just be like, it's hard. I miss them, even though they might not have been there. They still miss them, and that's something I can't relate to. So I would love for them to have people that they can relate to, people that can talk to, and an opportunity to find help. Your heartbeat on the monitor goes up and down, and the only thing you don't want to do is to stay flat. So when you're going up and down, it just means you're living life, and there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and I don't think one is better without the other. I think you just need to learn to accept the fact that you're not always going to be your best self, and you're not always going to be where you want to be, but that's also okay. And just keep showing up. And I think that's one of the main steps to getting anywhere, is just showing up. So if I could say anything, I think it'd just be the ups and downs come, but as long as you keep showing up, there will be ups, and I think it's just as helpful.